Well, Frozen has become one of Disney's top franchises. Outside of movie sales, Disney has profited from merchandise sales, theme park rides, and so on. Well, to talk about why the franchise has become so successful across so many cultures, I'm joined by Mat Brunet from Montreal. Matt's an animation historian, voice actor, film critic, and YouTuber. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, no problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's start with describing Frozen's transformation, starting as a film and then going into the merchandise, the Broadway show. Just how lucrative is the Frozen empire?
Well, with the Frozen Empire, it really resonated with millions of people around the world. It really is the power of the movie itself, because a lot of the messages and the characters and the animation and all that stuff, it really does resonate with the entire Disney brand, which allows it to really grow substantially to become this major marketing juggernaut. That's why you see all the different merchandising that everybody buys, the Broadway show, and even going beyond that, like 2 theatrically released shorts, and especially the prominent presence at the Disney parks. When you go to Disney World right now, one of the biggest things is to either go into the Frozen ride at Epcot or to go and meet up and have a picture with Anna and Elsa.
Now, it's interesting because it can be quite a gamble waiting so long to release part 2, especially since original Frozen fans may be, well, entering middle school, and at this point, parents really thought they were in the clear from the whole Frozen phenomenon. So how likely are original fans to embrace this new film versus whether it's meant for a new generation?
Well, for that one, funny enough, I actually went to see the movie last night, and I can safely assure you that for any of the kids who still like Frozen today, they will definitely enjoy this as well. I think this is a movie that definitely does stay true to the spirit of the original, so if they would go and check this out, then they'll most likely love it as much as the original. And this is the same thing that also goes to older fans as well, that if they do have an appreciation or that they love the first Frozen, then this is going to be something that they will equally appreciate as much. They'll still love the same things that they got in the original, and sometimes there are elements that were even amplified in the sequel. So I think on that department, both young and old fans, they'll definitely have something with Frozen 2.
And we know that sequels can really make or break a franchise when you're stuck between sort of recreating that magic and trying something new. After so much success with the first Frozen, what's Disney's strategy this time around?
Well, for this strategy, it's interesting what Disney is actually doing right now. It's very rare that you would find this with animated features. It's actually the fact that Disney is treating this as a major event film. If you do look at the trailers, you do notice how serious that they really are taking the situation, that they're showing Anna, Elsa, Olaf, Kristoff, that they're going on this epic adventure. And the way that they are marketing this right now is a major event movie. Basically, the marketing that they want to do is that they want to treat this as equally as something as epic as Avengers Endgame that we got earlier this year, or the marketing can be viewed as a little bit similar to what they are doing right now with Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. So it's mostly to present it as a major movie event.
Now, clearly Disney has a huge catalog to pick from. So how does the success of this movie compare to, say, others in the Disney empire?
Well, it's actually very interesting, and I think what really stands out with Frozen is really the way that it kind of reignited more than any of the other recent Disney films in terms of Disney's popularity. The one that really put them back as the kings of animation, which used to be a position that was held by Pixar in the last decade. So with Frozen, it helped them really grow substantially, and it was their first, and it's the first movie from the studio that made over $1 billion and even held the position of the highest grossing animated feature of all time. So in that regard, because of that popularity, it really did stand out among the rest, because this was the one that really grabbed a lot of people's attention, especially the way that it continues the Disney formula, but for a contemporary audience.
And it's interesting because you do have that formula. There's usually a tragedy with the parents, a princess, a twist. Do you think Frozen has really earned the right, though, to call itself a new classic at this point?
Oh, absolutely. This is not a fan at all. The way that I see it, what Frozen has done in the 2010s is exactly like what The Lion King has done back in the 1990s. Frozen has basically cemented itself as a major pop culture icon that really does define this entire decade. Not just the year, but the whole decade, with everyone singing Let It Go, with how everybody remembers the characters, with Elsa, Anna, Olaf, and all those people. It really does define, or is a major player to describe how is the 2010s in pop culture. And just like with The Lion King, it still continues in terms of being a major classic. So I believe it's going to be the same thing with Frozen, where generations to come will appreciate and will enjoy Frozen.
Mat Brunet there, animation historian, voice actor, film critic, and YouTuber. Thanks so much.